Assalamu alaikum.
عليكم السلام. I think we're ready to start, right?
We start from this slide, inshallah. We can start.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. As I hope you're all enjoying and benefiting from the Ramadan. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa akhlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So this is our second session, and we are delving into the ocean of the Quranic wisdom. Yesterday, we reflected on two ayah particularly. One in Surah Al-Baqarah, that's a well-known one, talks about how Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was revealed. Then we talked about two more ayah as well. So the main point that we learned yesterday, Ramadan is the month of Quran in which Quran was revealed, and fasting is not just abstaining from eating and drinking, is in a way get into an angelic state and listen to the universe to see how everything speaks to us and how everything's become a sign and lead us to the Creator. So in this regard, that yesterday particularly, Dr. Ali reflects on the very wording of the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah. And what we realize that the Quran indeed is a deep ocean of wisdom, but we need to know how to unearth them by studying the Quran very carefully in terms of its wording, its language, its the entire interconnectivity in the Quran, and the way we perceive it, how we look at those stories, how we look at those characters, and how we try to understand and how we link the Quran to ourselves. So in this regard, that what we learned that essentially, even when that was our very first example, even when come to those ayah about the fasting, as we delve into the wording of the Quran, we find deep meaning, deep wisdom, deep message for us. We barely reflect on the two ayah. I think, Dr. Ali, you can put those two ayah, we can reflect more on them today, because the reason is that we generally perceive fasting as just abstaining from eating and drinking, while you emphasized yesterday those two ayah that's on the screen essentially link to not speak, become silent, as something linked to the Quran. So something linked to the fasting. So yesterday we reflect on that ayah about the Maryam and her story. And I think we didn't have that much time perhaps to see the connection between the two ayah as well. You're very fast in covering that. So we can start it, reflect more on those two ayah in terms of how we should understand the fasting first.
Yes, we have talked about the relationship between fasting and not speaking. So the ayah we studied about Ramadan was combined two of them. Ramadan is the month of the Quran, and suddenly the verse ends with, then you should fast eat. That was interesting. So we should fast Ramadan. which is the month of the Quran. So it is in the structure of the Quran, this ayah, fasting and also uh, interacting with the Quran during the month of Ramadan, especially, is internally connected. So we also talked about, as you said, Maryam's fasting. What eating and drinking is allowed, they are allowed, but not speaking before the miraculous creation of Jesus. We said, do not really try to defend yourself. You cannot. But what is miraculously created will defend on behalf of you. That is, we said, that is a sign for us that we should use the miraculous creation because Jesus is created without Father. We should use this miraculous creation as evidence for our belief in the Creator, in the revelation, and in all principles of items of belief. So we should establish all belief matters on the evidence of the universe, how it presents to us. So,
I think I want to read. I think this is very interesting point that the traditional understanding of this ayah is just emphasized on the story part. But what you're inviting us to reflect on the wisdom behind the story. If Jesus alayhi salam was created without father, that's for sure miracle. Now, but then Miriam was asked not to say anything because the miracle itself, the baby itself is going to speak. So, and now you're taking this to the next level to us and saying that if we want to know about Creator, we should just listen because the creation is a miracle. It's not only Jesus was miracle, everything is miracle. So as long as we see the miraculousness of the creation, which basically means that negating the causation, because Jesus alayhi salam did not have father as a cause, so therefore it was clear it must be miracle. So in this case that you're saying we should look at this verse and derive such deep meaning as well. Did I get it right?
yeah, that's it. We should base our claims under the witnessing of the miraculous creation. That's what we are going to emphasize on this point more. That is why Quran says in this ayah, Araf 204, let's read the ayah and connect it with each other. All right, from here, I think we have a beautiful kind without turning the Quran into a music. So this recitation I preferred.
وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
Now, this verse, no, all right. This ayah, I'm used to speaking English mostly to non-Muslims, so please forgive me. They don't understand ayah, what it means. They don't know. So whenever the Quran is being recited, listen to it attentively and keep silent so that you may receive mercy. I have to keep silent. What does it mean, keep silent? Of course, not to speak. That is the literal understanding, which is correct. We have to pay attention to it, attentively listen to it. But why the Quran emphasizes on being silent? Exactly like Maryam's being silent about on the accusations of her being a bad woman having a child with no father, no marriage connection, and without father, people think that it is impossible for a baby to be born without father. We said this is a reference to without cause, no effect. But this cause is within the universe. The Quran is teaching us the real cause is the creator of the universe, not within the universe. So without Father, I can create. Demonstrating it, this is what for us, an invitation to understand that all the causal chain is not really the effective causal chain in the universe. What are they? It is the order of the creation. Order is hijacked, if you like, by the materialist people and turned into necessary cause and effect relationship. There is no creator of the universe within itself creating one another, evolving. One creates the second one, its effect. This effect becomes a cause and creates again. It looks like a tail, but in the cause, is there any quality to create the effect? It is dumb, lifeless, or even with love, doesn't matter. No knowledge, no free will, no power. It is just a piece of creation acting within the order of the universe. That is the aim of the Quran, is primary aim of the Quranic teaching. As far as the belief matters, which is 95% of the Quran, belief matters are concerned to teach us La ilaha. There is no ilah. There is no divine being. There is no creator within the universe. We will see the Quran is full of this message. Inshallah, in the course of time, when we start studying the ayats of the Quran, we will emphasize on it and we will say, Quran is nothing but establishing the belief system. La ilaha, there is no creator. There is nothing which has any power, any free will to do anything. That is why we have to stop our own innovations, our own reflections without having any evidence from the creation. Listen to the Quran. Quran will teach us. Don't try to defend yourself. Quran will teach us how to really establish our belief on a convincing, rationally acceptable evidences.
I think that's really very interesting because traditionally, as you mentioned, most people understand this ayah in a literal way that you should stay silent when you see the Quran is recited. But here you're saying that the message, yes, you stay silent, but that's not the main point. The main point here is that you keep quiet and listen the divine revelation. You keep quiet in terms of leaving your ideology, your perception, your idea, and listen the pure divine guidance for you. And I think this ayah is very much linked to that the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah we reflect on yesterday. If Quran is Al-Furqan, and if Quran is actually describing the right and wrong, and if the Quran is a guidance for the whole humanity, that means if you have your questions, if you want to know how to have a good life, how to overcome your problem, listen to the Quran, not philosophy, not the human ideology. Listen to the divine revelation because it comes from the infinite wisdom and infinite knowledge. And I think that is truly amazing to look at in this way.
Now, in summary, so far, one sentence, just don't try to bring an idea or ideology, as you said, to defend the foundations of belief in ghaib. You cannot. Quran will provide it for you. You can only really revolve within the universe. You cannot get out of the universe in your mind. You cannot get out of the universe unless the creator of the universe, source of the existence of the universe, teaches you. That is why this ayah is extremely important as far as the methodological understanding of the Quran is concerned.
Very good. Now,
Fiqh rule also, keep quiet. Yes, of course you should keep quiet. Listen to the Quran for this purpose.
so then I think let's define what is the ideal fasting is and how this ideal fasting is going to help us to get ready to listen to the Quran and be in a silent way, and how we could do that in, let's say, in the month of Ramadan.
Yeah, in order to respect the Quran, if somebody comes to your house or one of your family members is speaking to you, while he's speaking to you, you keep speaking as well. Isn't that very irrespectful way of conversation, having an interaction? So respecting the Quran means carefully listening and trying to understand. That is what the respect is, real. But of course, we have to respect Musaf, the book form of the Quran, because it represents the word of God, word of Allah's kalam, Allah's word. That is the secondary practical fiqh matters. But we will study the Quran from belief perspective always. So fiqh is a special subject, which is not our subject here. It is beyond my capacity anyway. Fiqh is very, very different matter. So we will respect means keep quiet means listen attentively. Now we will have this slide. The best way to welcome to the Quran, something interesting in this text, in fact. The Quran was revealed during Ramadan. Yeah, we have been talking about it. To welcome this heavenly message, a divine message, properly, we should leave behind our base desires and trivial habits. It means our concentration should not be on just our personal benefits or as we think which is best for me. Of course, we will think that I need to eat, I need to have a shelter. But it doesn't mean that. We will talk about it. By fasting, we move away from physical needs like food and drink to reach a higher, more angelic state. What is angelic state? It is interesting. Angelic state. What? Angels don't eat and don't drink. The angels in the Quran, yes, presented to us, those beings glorify, proclaim the absolute qualities of the Creator. In everything we see that angelic side of everything proclaims this. Says, from our perspective, when we see it, my Creator, everything. For example, look at a bird. I love giving the example of a bird. They are beautiful creatures. Everything is beautiful, but they are specially created for us to reflect on. When you look at it, it says, my Creator is absolutely is the creator of everything in the universe, and I am adapted to it by his creation, by his arrangement. And the design says my creator creates everything beautifully. In the wisdom of my creation, the balance in my body explains the same thing. My creator is the most wise, the wisest one. It means absolutely wise one. This angelic side. Now, what we are going to have during Ramadan, we should have from our angelic side. What does it mean? Our angelic side come up, appear. What I understand from it, from angelic side, all my feelings extend to infinity. Where did I get it? There is no infinity in the universe. So I will concentrate on my creator to see who created me, who gave me these infinite senses. I want infinite satisfaction. So I will look at my angelic side, which provides evidence to the absoluteness, infiniteness of my creator, which is beyond the universe and owner of the universe, which is called Rabbul Alamin. They translate it as the Lord of the universe. Now, we have to listen to the Quran, not with our body, but through our qualities of our spirit, spiritual qualities. So what message is giving to me so that my feelings will be satisfied? Yes, I want eternal life. I want everything to be the most perfect way. This desire is given to me. Who can provide it? Who can provide it? If there is no creator and purposeful creation within the universe, I suddenly appear to be and suddenly disappear. Not suddenly, but we know at the end we will die, definitely. Why? We have to question this. This is a contradiction between how I am created with an infinite desire for satisfaction and how I am physically in this world, physically, bodily, subject to death. Why is it that? So I have to listen to my feelings, to my human qualities, listen to my spiritual qualities to connect with the Quran. Quran speaks from eternal creator. It's a speech from the absolute creator. And my spiritual side needs to recognize this absolute creator, and I have to connect with him. That is the angelic attitude towards the Quran. We will see how we can practice all this, inshallah. While in this state, we should engage with the Quran as if it is being revealed for the first time right now. My creator is the absolute creator, absolute. His kalam, his word is absolute, infinite. So we cannot really put the speech of the creator within a time and geographical limitations. Yes, it was heard by the prophet first time in his life, and he transferred to us. We are very thankful to him. So that's why we keep giving salawat on him. So the first time I can speak, I can listen to the Quran as if it is speaking to me now. Why? This key point should never be ignored. The one who created me right now is speaking to me right now within my own conditions. That's why our title is Understanding of the Quran Today. Because none of the Muslim scholars said ever that Quran is a limited book. Its meaning is infinite. What does it mean? At any moment, everywhere, for every person, it addresses and speaks to him and gives the answer to his needs, spiritual needs, even bodily needs as well, how to manage my physical life as well. So we shouldn't go back to the uh, time and space where the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam received the message first time. So we shouldn't go back there. We should bring the Quran to our time now. First time, right now, it is revealing to me, as far as I am concerned. Imagine, now I'm continuing reading now, imagine listening to its words as if they are coming directly from the Prophet. Prophet announced it, transferred the message, and it is echoing now throughout the generations by generations. And now I am listening to the echo of the prophetic message. Now, as if coming from the Prophet, directly from the Prophet, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, or the angel Gabriel, Jibrail. Jibrail is bringing the message from the Creator, and I am listening to it. Am I a prophet? No. While I am listening, which attitude, in which psychological position I should be, as if I am receiving the message from the Creator, from the angel Gabriel. And then the third stage of listening to the Quran, there are different stages of listening to the Quran depending on the consciousness of the person, how much we are aware the Quran, God's speech, the characteristics of the Quran, how much we are aware of it. So the third stage it's even amazing. Or even God speaks to me now. Huh? Not a prophet. No, we don't confuse. As if my creator is telling me something now. Now, speaking to me now, because the Quran is timeless. That is what the Muslim scholars argued about, that the Quran is not created. If it was created, it would be bound by time and space. These three stages, depending on my psychological situation. Now, maybe I may be not very much conscious of what I am doing now. Just read it as if Prophet ﷺ received it, and I am hearing the echoing voice of the Prophet Muhammad, or uh, in other stages, angel Gabriel is bringing it to me now, and I'm listening from the angels. But if you see it, it is possible my Creator is speaking to me. And I will ask this question. I will give some related verses to the previous verses, and then how we should.
So let me try to get the key points that you mentioned. I think this is very, very important, because if Ramadan is the month of Quran, that means fasting is really needed to help us to get into the state of mind, state of soul and consciousness, through which we can better understand the divine speech. So in this regard, that's what we, in a way, rather than looking at Ramadan as the tests for being patient toward eating and drinking. So we should look at Ramadan as the month of studying, learning, getting directly exposed to the Quran. So, but how are we going to? So, the first condition is to really get to this stage. That basically means that you need to become like angel, which angels do not eat and drink. And then you in a way awaken your spiritual intellectual faculty through which you can better understand the Quran. So in other words, Ramadan and fasting in Ramadan is essentially given to us to prepare us to get connected to the Quran, to get ready to engage with Quran. Now, how are we going to do that? I think that's the first thing you mentioned. That's very
I
essential.
think this one. You are right. You are right. Now we are here. This is an example, but related to the previous verses. That is why I have chosen these ayat from the Quran. Let's read this one. Let's ask this Hafiz to read it.
فلما فصل طالوت بالجنود قال إن الله مبتليكم بنهر فمن شرب منه فليس مني ومن لم يطعمه فإنه مني إلا من اغترف غرفة بيده فشربوا.
Let's read the translation. When Talut sent out with the troops, he said, Allah will test you with a river. Now, let's save this first. I didn't want to expand this subject a lot so that we will continue. But one of our friends reminded that this verse also is related to the subject that we have been studying. That's why I said, okay, respecting our friend's suggestion, let's work on it. Now, I am here in the 21st century and in a certain geographical location. And my environment is there. Now, look at yourself, your physical conditions, and listen to my Creator. It's telling me something right now. We will practice this, how to listen to the Quran. What it says, when Talut set out with the troops. Who's Talut? An example. I'm not denying the historical reality of the event. No, for me now, I don't know Talut. I have never seen him, as I make a joke of this kind of verses in order to understand them better. So I have not seen him, but my God is speaking to me and talking about someone who's called Talut, yeah, with the troops. Oh, he has an army. Okay, let me listen. He said, Allah will test you with a river. I will say, my Creator is telling me that he tested somebody with something. And how about me? Why is he telling me this? Why are you telling me this as if I'm speaking to God? Right? But you can communicate like this. It is jais, don't worry. So you can say, why are you telling me this? There was a man, he was the leader of the army, commander of the army, and he said to the members of the army, soldiers, Allah will test you with a river. That is the point. Allah will test me with a river. That is why he is hinting me. That's why he's telling me, what is my river? Let me see. Whoever drinks from it, it is not of me. If I disconnect myself from my Creator, then I will say, food is nourishing me. Medicine is curing me. And air is really keeping my life, and my body is sustaining me, my existence. Material causes, again, we should never forget that the Quran's primary purpose of the Quran is to establish firmly La ilaha. There is nothing in this universe you can think of that it may have a power to create. No. Now, whoever drinks from it is not of me, from me. Now, if you say that, yeah, Allah is taking care of everything, I trust in Allah, but without this, I cannot have my life like that, to fulfill my expectations. Let's see. And whoever does not taste, it is of me. Except, let me see what is the trying to communicate with Allah. Why is he speaking to me in this way? Except one who takes only a handful with his hand. It means only to satisfy your physical needs, not to give, not to attach more importance to anything of this universe more than your physical needs. All your expectations of satisfaction is from the Creator. Trust Him. That's why Quran, as if an army is going and they are thirsty and there will be a river running or lots of water. So Allah will test you with it, running water. It means that all this material side of the appearance of the universe is running, continuously running, and I will attach my heart to it, but only as much as I need it. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have more or less. No, that is a perspective teaching me, teaching us. There's a perspective. So I have to put my trust in my Creator in order to understand the reality of my life. Or some materialist people do that. Their life is based on the materials of this universe, and they put their trust in this universe. While benefiting from the universe, they don't say that this is just provided for me. A believer says, no, this is just provided for me, and the Creator is really going to satisfy all my needs. He is just giving me the news from it.
So I think this is very good example of how we take this Quranic story and make our personal message and drive lesson for ourselves. So normally, I will guess most people, when they read this story, they're going to say, who is Talut, who is Jalut, and what happened to the Prophet Dawood? So they're going to look at the story part as if this is an historical event. But now, the way you present it here, you say, no, this story is our story. Quran speaks to me and you. The river is the flooding of all those worldly things that's coming and going. The challenge or the question, the test that we all face, that whether we try to seek satisfaction through the worldly attachment, or we say, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ, that we seek satisfaction with the Creator alone. So that is the test, not of the soldier of Talut, only our test as well. And this ayah speaks to me now in terms of how I should behave and arrange my relationship with the dunya. And I think it's truly amazing, a beautiful way of bringing the ayah to our personal life and make a personal connection with the ayah. It's an amazing, I think.
Yeah. If a mother or father speaking to his or her child and saying that in my youth, I had a friend. His name was Ahmed, yeah, for example. And Ahmed was used to do this, used to do that, and it failed at the end. Of course, smart child will say, why my mother is talking to me with this example? Now, of course, if someone is not wise enough, said, who's Ahmed? How was Walti? The father will say, look, I'm telling you an example for you. So you will take the lesson from it and apply it to yourself. Don't be like Ahmed, it means. Or, good example, don't be like this person who was so successful, who did this and that. It means you have to be like that. So we shouldn't lose ourselves in the story side of the Quran. But we should put ourselves as if the same role as the either Talut or a soldier in the army of Talut. So Allah is giving the news and telling to me, you should only attach importance. We shouldn't really talk about the uh, quantity, quantity, quantitative side of the universe. You should give attach importance to the worldly benefits, the water here. Only it is provided by my creator to satisfy my body. But the point is, why am I created in this way? And what is the creator of, for example, food that we eat is telling me this, only to satisfy my body, and at the end he takes me away from this world. He gives me death. This should not be the point. Feeding the body and then killing me. It cannot be the point. So while feeding me, he's teaching me something. Who is providing all this food for you? Look at the فلينظر الإنسان إلى طعامه. Let men look at his food, how it was created, how it was arranged from the earth and the needs of my body, how it was really connected to each other, perfectly communicating and fitting. Now, inshallah,
I think that's a good point. If you can elaborate a little bit more on it. So the point here is that you're saying that well, we really need to look at, let's say, the worldly thing. Let's say the food. Now, fasting, everyone think of food. We should not think of food as something of, let's say, pleasure, as something that is, itself as a goal. We should think of food as a message, as a meaningful way of connecting and communicating with Creator. Because the one who create the food for me tells me, I know you, I know your needs, I know your desire. I am the one providing this, is not the soil and seed giving you. So in this case, that it seems like, sometime even in Ramadan, that we put too much emphasis on the food itself, that we're thinking of the food rather than on the fasting or on the Quran. Then the day is culturally in many places that most people are really occupied with like thinking of food, preparing the food, talking about the food. I think that's it's what you're saying, that's missing the complete point. It's in a way becoming like the majority of the soldier of Talut that drinking and losing themselves. I think that's really interesting point.
Exactly. Now, so in the Muslim world during Ramadan, the market blooms, then. Okay, that's let us look at ourselves and what we
Dr. Ali, I want really our audience to somehow be part of the dialogue in a way. I have one polling question. If you allow me, I want to launch this to
yeah
really get them to answer. So I'm launching this on the screen now. Yes, so please answer those questions about the wisdom of fasting. How do you think, in your view, how do Muslims, not you, how do Muslims generally perceive the wisdom behind fasting in the month of Ramadan? So it's on the screen. I think you can, yes, please go ahead and vote on it. Dr. Ali, can you see this as well on your screen?
yes I can.
Okay. Let's see what what is the understanding. So you see, the option is, the whole point is that how do Muslims perceive the wisdom behind fasting? Why Allah asked us to have fasting for the whole month? So one option is developing patience by abstaining from eating, drinking, understanding the poor and developing empathy for them, gaining more good deed, and preparing ourselves to better understand the Quran. So look at here, you see the last option has the least votes so far, and majority thinks that people look at in terms of, developing patience or understanding or gaining good deed and understanding the poor. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, I think
that's the picture. Our friends are very much aware of what is going on in the Muslim world. This is the picture of the Muslim world nowadays, but it is not an accusation of others. No, this is our reality, and we have to be very careful what is missing. What is
But
missing? So we have to educate ourselves accordingly.
and you can see the most important one,
Yeah,
is the most missing one, according to most people who participate in the
yeah.
poll. Thank you very much. I'm closing the poll. Please continue, Dr. Ali.
Okay, thank you. So, uh, all right, shall I?
Yes. Yeah, continue,
Yeah.
please.
All right, now, oh, just a minute. Well, now, why I uh, brought this verse, two ayats actually, to your attention. What is the point? I will talk about it, and inshallah, let's listen first. No, here. All right.
وامرأته قائمة فضحكت فبشرناها بإسحاق ومن وراء إسحاق يعقوب قالت يا ويلتى أألد وأنا عجوز وهذا بعلي شيخا إن هذا لشيء عجيب.
Now, and his wife was standing by. You know all the story, story of Ibrahim. So she laughed. Then we gave her good news of the birth of Isaac, Ishaq, and after him, Jacob, Jacob. She wondered, oh my, in English they say, how can I have a child in this old age and my husband here is an old man? This is truly an astonishing thing. We say that it is a miraculous creation. Now, Quran is teaching us what is not miraculous creation. We may think that Jesus was created, Isa was created without father, and do you think God needs mother as well? Without mother cannot create? It means cause and effect. Again, this is an essential teaching of the Quran. Cause and effect relationship is not a creative relationship. It is an orderly creation. That is the most essential message we receive from the Quran as far as our ages is concerned. Cause and effect relationship must be broken, but next to each other. Next to each other, order. But if you see my hand, tied to each other, chain. Materialists see cause and effect relationship like this chain. Quran says, no, not like this chain, like this, next to each other, adjacent to each other, not connected. Without cause, there is no effect. No, I will teach you here. I will demonstrate you an example I created in the past, and I will tell you here. His wife was an old woman, which is impossible within our understanding, within our perception of the word, that to have a child. There is no need what age she was, what her name was, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Just God doesn't need father, doesn't need mother to create something, doesn't need cause, doesn't need effect. God is the one who creates with absolute power, with absolute free choice. Now, she wondered, how can I have a child in this old age? Example, this is just an example showing that God, now we said here that was it's an amazing thing. God is speaking to me now. We will come here and listen, listen to this verse, this ayah. His wife was standing by. Whose wife was it? None of your business. See the message. So she laughed. Why? Now, out of joy. Then we gave her good news of the birth of Isaac. Oh, Isaac, Isaac. And then after him, Jacob. What? After this age, I will have one child, not yet enough, another child. What impossible? I am an old woman. Now, God is teaching me I can create. So she said, now we will listen to these words as if God is speaking to me right now and answering and educating me, teaching me that the Creator is telling me that He doesn't need anything to give existence to anything He wants. That is how we should read the Quran. Communicating with my Creator right now. Of course, I will locate my understanding within the framework of this age. This age is a materialist age, selfish age. That is the predominant culture of the world. Everything is evolving by itself within the universe, and that is how it is. Now we say, no, everything is given existence by a conscious creator who can create everything. Look at the way the things are created. You can understand that causes have no effect, whatever it is. So, La ilaha is established. And these kind of examples must be understood in this way. The last
Very,
verse.
very, yeah, Dr. Ali, I think the last verse we're gonna leave it for tomorrow.
No, no, I think, excuse me, we
We
should
have a
talk
question. We
about
have
this
some,
verse as well. So we have not much time.
Dr. Ali, we don't have a time. My suggestion is that we leave the other one tomorrow. We have question. So let's, Nurbanu, can you read those two questions to Dr. Ali? You can unmute yourself and read yourself.
Yes, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. We have two questions. One of them, well, we have three questions. So one of them is the same kalima istawa, I guess, also occurs in verse 29, Surah Al-Ahqaf. It seems like this also demonstrates keeping silent when the Quran is being recited. We're able to gain knowledge like how jinn also learn from the Quran. Wallahu alam. And another question, somehow the reason for fasting is for us to reach the angelic state. There's a verse here, but I can't read it. Does this imply that only through fasting allows us to listen attentively so that we can magnify Allah and be thankful to Him? And the final question is, are all miracles meant to serve as examples of this? That is, to remind us that there is no inherent causal relationship between cause and effect.
But actually, the questions are answered, has the answer within themselves. So not only fasting, fasting represents, of course, fiqh side is a side. We are not saying that fasting is a symbolic thing and we don't have to really fast as we understand conventionally. No, no, no. Fasting is the representation of not attaching ourselves to this world and forgetting about the creator of the world. It is a representative of it. So we intensively practice it during the month of Ramadan, physically keeping ourselves away from worldly engagement. What does it mean? Having some time, physical side of fasting, having some time to be together with the Quran and listening to the Quran, studying the Quran, trying to understand the Quran, communicating with the Quran. That is one side of it. But what fasting really represents is not attaching importance to causes, the material things that they have power to create. That is what we have to understand. Disconnecting our expectations from these worldly benefits, very briefly.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Ali. I'm going to briefly summarize, and we are at the end of our program. And there are two things I want to mention before summarizing what we learned today. One is that we have Google Classroom, so we share the links. So if you please, if you want to get the resources deeply engaged, sign up for Google Classroom. Second is that WhatsApp groups that we have it, and we want this to be a part of a learning platform as well. And after each session, we'll open it for an hour to get your insight, your feedback. So please just post it, the relevant things there. And meanwhile, if you enjoy the program, so please share with others, invite others to the program as well. So what we learned today essentially is that fasting in this regard is a way of getting us to get the angelic state in which that we can understand the divine message and we can connect the divine message and listen to it as if it was revealed first time to me right now, as if Jibreel alayhi salam is talking to me, as if Prophet, peace be upon him, giving this to me, or as if Allah himself speaks to me. Now, what will I hear when I get this connection? So the first and foremost message is I will hear the message of Tawheed and La ilaha, which basically means that Quran will tells me through the story that don't pay attention to the causes, to the material thing. Don't get attached to them. You cannot stay, let's say 24 hours without food and drinks. But who is the one that make this food and drink for? It's not soil, it's not the seed. See the divine hand behind that and connect to him. So in this regard that we see essentially fasting is for a very good reason, and the month of Ramadan is the month of Quran in which that we have the best opportunity to get engaged with Quran, to study the Quran, and we really thanks Allah that give us such opportunity and such program that we can reflect on it and learn from that. So I think that's all I can say. We'll inshallah continue tomorrow. Dr. Ali, as we did yesterday, I think it'd be good to end it with good dua from you, inshallah.
Inshallah, tomorrow we will have an interesting, surprising, and also a little bit shaking ayah from the Quran, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.
Assalamu alaikum. See you tomorrow, inshallah.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.